yesterday.
Unlike Mullen.
What are you talking about?
For people, please. This you should have done during the time of
Hey,
fasting.
you should have been very strategic.
I mean,
I
you need to
tried.
learn to position yourself. The Lugano is so poetic. You should have done. But coming out now at this point, you may find that it's a bit late. But it's been a good Ramadan, I must say. It's been a good time. My life is a bit close to very many Muslims in their practice. And there's a lot of things to admire from how these people live their life. Ramadan in its own definition, it's a good opportunity. And like today morning when I was coming home, coming to work, I listened to one of the lyrics by a gentleman called Harun Amubiru. And in this song he's trying to say that this time calls upon all of us to pick ourselves again and again, like to forgive, to love. And sometimes out of the 30 days, some people actually proceed. They go on with that kind of mannerism and whatever they have been doing. So we also pray that this that has been exhibited in the time of fasting continues to be the demeanor and mannerism of our brothers and sisters, the Muslims. But also something interesting, on days like this, it happens that in the Muslim faith, it is a double blessing. It falls on a day where there is the special prayers of the Muslims. Friday is when you have Eid. So we hope that today's prayers will be gulfed with lots of messages. And of course, as you did say, Philomena, we shall also be having some of the prayers of different places for the Muslim brothers and sisters here on UBC. But what's in for us to pick out of this Ramadan? I don't know if you have any particular anything special about Muslims' month of fasting. but I'll share with you a small story. I remember when I was still in Shimoni, when we were going to the old tax park, we used to pass by Nakasero. So our best month for the year would be this month when Muslims are fasting, because we would equally benefit. I remember how they used to do. They used to put, they have lots of trays, big trays. So that's how we learned Muslim practices at a very young age of about P4, P5. We used to go there and break our fast with our brothers. So the generosity of the Muslims has been beneficial to many people.
We have to give it to them. They have
Very
a
generous
certain level of generosity that, I mean, an ordinary person cannot exactly relate to. And I love the fact that these are some of the practices. They make sure that they grow up with, even with the children, they start teaching them some of these practices right from childhood. So it's not a practice that you will get into, or a habit you will get into in your adulthood times. So there is quite a lot that we'll be talking about, and what even the Muslim leaders have encouraged their people to pray for this Eid al-Fitr. They have a very specific message concerning peace all over the world, and this is what they want them to actually pray for today, to focus their attention. Well, for now, we'll look into some more news coming up here in the country, what is happening around us, and of course later on we'll progress into some of the international stories as well. Robert.
Well, we'll begin with President Museveni returning the anti-homosexuality bill to Parliament for some clarifications. Now, President Museveni is to return the anti-homosexuality bill 2023 to Parliament to address few concerns regarding some of the clauses. The President, who held Parliament for passing the anti-homosexuality bill 2023, wants the bill to cater for physically disoriented persons who would need rehabilitation. The President will next week meet the Parliamentary Legal Affairs Committee and Asumani Basalirwa, the mover of the bill, to harmonize on concerns raised before the bill is signed into law.
President Yoweri Museveni has also directed the Civil Aviation Authority to upgrade road infrastructure of 4 aerodromes in Uganda. Now, the move is aimed at strengthening Uganda's tourism potentials, with tourist movements within the countries destined for enhancement. Museveni was also speaking during the first quarterly broadcast on trade and investment, an initiative by the President Advisory Committee on Export, Industry and Development.
Moving on, the anti-corruption court in Kololo yesterday granted a cash bail of 10 million shillings to the State Minister of Finance and Planning, Amos Lugorobi, over offences of dealing with suspect property. The court, however, imposed stringent terms to Minister Lugorobi, including surrendering his 2 title deeds to court as well as his travel documents.
Now, the State Minister for Veteran Affairs, Jacob Both, has been summoned to the Criminal Investigations Directorate at Chibuli, where he will be questioned over the ongoing misuse of iron sheets meant for the vulnerable communities in Karamoja region. Both, who is a member of Parliament for West Budama Central, had donated 137 iron sheets towards the roofing of Catechist's house at St. Andrew Church of Uganda. However, the iron sheets were later picked on Thursday by his bodyguards from the church's stores where they had been kept. Now, if found guilty, Both will become the 4th minister to be charged in the widening scandal following ministers Amos Lugorobi, Agnes Nandutu, Mary Goreti Chitutu, who have since been charged before the anti-corruption court in Kololo over mismanagement of Karamoja relief items.
Well, this is getting interesting as the days go by. We are looking at 4 ministers down. Who is up next?
Still counting.
Hopefully more.
We're looking at the international stories. Elon Musk's SpaceX company's mammoth new rocket Starship has exploded on its maiden flight. No one was hurt in the uncrewed test that lifted off from Texas's east coast on Thursday morning local time. After 2 to 3 minutes into the flight, the rocket, the biggest ever developed, started to tumble out of control and was soon destroyed by onboard charges. Mr. Musk has said his company will try again in a couple of months. SpaceX engineers still class Thursday's mission as a success. They like to test early and often and are not afraid to break things. They will have gathered a mass of data to work towards the next flight. A second Starship is almost ready to take flight. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has called on Mexican legislators to support his country's fight against invading Russian forces, chastising those he accused of denying Ukraine's pursuit of peace. Now, some of those leaders, he added, sought to achieve some sort of populism by saying that Ukraine is supposedly not ready to go for peace. The speech was Zelensky's first address to Mexican legislators since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine back in February 2022.
Now in Sudan, Khartoum was rocked by further shelling on Friday after several international leaders called Sudanese Army Chief General AL-FITR al-Burhan, urging him to agree to a ceasefire in conjunction with the Muslim Eid al-Fitr holiday. Among those calling the army chief were the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and the foreign ministers of Saudi Arabia and Qatar, as well as the Egyptian intelligence chief, according to the army statement. Thousands of civilians have fled Sudan's capital since a violent power struggle broke out last weekend between the army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Force (RSF) under General Mohamed Hamdan, the previously allied leaders of Sudan's ruling military government. Large numbers also crossed into Chad to flee fighting in the western region of Darfur.
Well, it's Good Morning Uganda Friday special. We are here with you at least for the biggest part of the morning. It's also a public holiday, but also joining our brothers and sisters in the Muslim religious faith to celebrate their their Eid al-Fitr to mark the end of the holy month of Ramadan. And of course, we'll be having quite some interesting discussions around this. What do you expect, or what are your plans for today? But also send out your messages concerning this day. encouraging you to make use of our WhatsApp platform, our social media platforms as well, Twitter, hashtag EUBCGMU, WhatsApp number 0709-602-592. We'll go for a break. When we get back, we'll be having more of those interesting discussions.
This is Good Morning Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC.
If I'm looking at issues of taxation and all that, I will definitely run for the Kateshumbas. Okay? Okay. If I'm looking at issues of investments and what, I would definitely run. I would definitely run for Dr. Emre Kugonza and Honorable Omara. Okay? If I'm looking at issues of the law, I will run for our very, very own people. I have the bosses, I have the Katuntus, I have the Robin Abakojos. So everyone is talented in one way or another.
Did you mention Katuntu?
Okay. Yes.
Is he yours?
Yes, he is.
Yours as an NRM?
He is.
Was brought to you by
Get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello?
Hello?
This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me.
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
AL-FITR. Refrain from unnecessary engagement with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *100*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*10#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's the encounters with our majestic gorillas. The thrill of taking on the falls of the Nile River. The joy of discovering new traditions and a lot more. Join us at the 2023 Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo from the 26th to the 29th of April at the Commonwealth Resort, Munyonyo. Rediscover our country's uniqueness and see what the tourism sector has in store for you. Visit www.poate.co.ug to secure your spot and get set to learn, network, and explore. The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo is brought to you by the Uganda Tourism Board in partnership with Competitiveness and Enterprise Development Projects. Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda Friday special. We are back at it today being a Friday, the last day of the week, and a public holiday as well, but also looking at it from a religious perspective, Eid al-Fitr, at least for our Muslim fraternity, and several Arabian countries are actually celebrating this. Yesterday we did see Saudi Arabia coming out after the sighting of the moon. We did see Kenya also come out to declare their Eid al-Fitr to be happening same today earlier on, and Uganda as well joined joined the rest of the world to announce its day today, much later on. And well, we also, as the ordinary people, Christians, non-Christians, we get to continue being part of the celebrations, but wishing them to be more celebratory for our brothers and sisters. Well, there is one key message that is being spread, especially for these Eid al-Fitr celebrations. Now, the Muslim leaders in Uganda came out to urge all their Islamic devotees to actually pray for global peace as they end the holy month of Ramadan during Eid al-Fitr celebrations, which are happening today. And I mean, this again resonates to something you're talking about, Robert, seeing as conflicts that are happening, especially in Sudan over there, where we know that the biggest percentage of the citizens of this country are Muslims. So peace is one of the key things that the devotees have been asked to pray for. And I mean, we cannot only cut it out for the Muslims, but for the rest of the world. And of course, according to Dr. Sheikh Ziad Swaleh Lubanga, who is the director of Sharia at Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, did say that the national prayers to mark Eid will be at Gaddafi Mosque in Kampala, and they'll be starting at 8 a.m. Of course, we here at UBC will be giving you live coverage of what is going to be going down over there. But also, we have all grown up around Muslim people or the Muslim community, and if not, at least you have friends or two. And I would really want to hear from Felix first, because he did share some snippets of his childhood. But there are very big lessons I do understand that we can all pick from our Muslim brothers and sisters. I will tell you one thing I love about these people, and it's not to downplay what other, religious fraternities do, but these people love their faith. They love their faith, and they're very, very proud of it. They will talk to you for as long as you express interest in knowing the dynamics of their religion, of their faith. They will talk to you. They will educate you, even if it's not necessarily to be part of them, but they love for you to know what exactly they believe in, their philosophies around their religion. They love their faith. And I mean, if we all loved what we do like they love their faith, I think we would be in a better place as a country. but Robert, rather Felix, please, your childhood memories. I know you're big on generosity, but what are some of the other lessons or some of the other things you feel like the rest of the communities should copy from the Islamic community?
Well, of course, first and foremost, we want to congratulate brothers and sisters of the Muslim fraternity upon having completed successfully and blessedly the month of Ramadan, where they do dedicate at least 30 days of their annual time to desist and substitute their formal chain, their formal or known pattern of feeding, to make that pattern purposeful for prayer. The same period, we have learnt and studied that it is meant for them to refresh their souls, their minds in relation to what they believe in. And there is much that is given between that time for the 30 days. It is not news that Ramadan is a blessed time. It is not news. It is neither news that the Muslim fraternity, or Muslims for that matter, have consistently exhibited superfluous or by far behavior and practices that have been for all of us to pick. In fact, if you're a good rhetoric appreciator, you would note that businesses and the economy has been directly affected because of the pullout of this particular time and period. And it is not shy for us to say that that is the proof and evidence of the trueness of fasting. In fact, one time we had a big argument with one of my very close friends, priest called Father Stephen Nkwangu. I think he's with the Uganda Matters in Namugongo. And we're asking ourselves, for him, it became so concerning for him that even he asked the Christians, when you Christians are fasting, the economy doesn't feed any pinch. Like there is nothing, it's all, but our brothers and sisters, the Muslims, when they are fasting, there is an effect to the economy. You see that people tell you, why? That is the evidence of how concretized this time is for our brothers and sisters. And we applaud them. We have belief, for some of us who are believers, that their prayers don't go in vain. There's much that will change entirely for the country and for them individually. But what is there for us to pick as a country, as individuals, later on as communities? You see, it is one thing to have a commandment. It's another to abide by it or take it in. And it is the latter for you to use it to probably change belief or change life or whatever it is. Do we see this in our communities? The Catholic community or the Christian community has just ended their fasting period. I think a week ago when we had the Easter holidays. In the same reign, we had an intertwinement of the Ramadan. But do we see an effect of these religious activities in the country? Apart from the economy, do we see these times for us as religious people changing the challenges we face? Can we directly attribute these periods of fasting? Look at the Christian, look at the mosaic for that matter. But do you relate them to change of lives? Today as we celebrate Eid, are we proud to say it's been a good period of fasting? For some other Muslims, of course, they will do a sit-at extension, but can we say it is, are we proud to say we have had a good fast, things are going to change? Or at the break of Eid, everyone is going to return to their own way. And that has been the challenge consistently raised. But far from that, it's also good for us to have some time off our normal drill. Sometimes we have been used to very many shoddy things that at this point, probably there will be a change. For some of us who have related with Muslims, we have felt the change in times of Ramadan. But there's one funny thing about also Ramadan. Lastly, I must say, one person was asking, there's a report that came out, someone asked a question related to that report. I saw one of the clips by the spokesperson of traffic. I think she's called Nampima. The lady is called Nampima.
Farida Nampima.
And the beauty, she's a Muslim. I hadn't picked that. But in her statement, she said that there are great allegations from police. I want to call them allegations. That abuse of particular substances is more by our brothers and sisters in that religion. I don't want to take that as a cardinal truth, but I want us to also take that in context that fasting time is meant to us to meditate upon the wrong things in society. One of the clips that came out in Ramadan, I don't know if any of you watched it, the Muslim who has been slapped, the old man, and I think somewhere in the western part of Uganda. I don't know if any of you saw it.
Benefited tremendously from the slap.
No. Away from that, the context, because if you want to pick the imagery, and this, the reason why we bring this up is that if you're trying to cause evaluation of what should happen vis-a-vis what is happening, we saw an attack on, so all these things, and these things, the response of other Muslims was good, of course, the courtesy and what, but do we see this surpassing the period of Ramadan? And this is a question we ask our brothers, but also we ask ourselves, because it is the entire duty for all of us in community. When Muslims are fasting, it is our duty to support them, and the reverse is the truth of the matter. So, on top of that, again, we want to congratulate them. It's a big day in the Muslim fraternity, and of course, there are many du'as that will come with it today, and one of them, of course, we have already had in the morning. I don't know if any of you has been privileged to be a part of any, but make sure you don't spend this day without being part of a dua. It would be good for you.
Well, we're talking about Eid al-Fitr. What does it mean to you as a Ugandan, whether you are a Muslim or you are actually not part of it? Let us know, and of course don't hesitate from sending out your messages on Eid al-Fitr. Speaking of the meaning, Molen, what does Eid exactly mean to you as an ordinary Ugandan, as a person, as a person who has also interacted with some Muslim men and women? I heard you here crying, asking, please don't forget us, don't forget us.
She was on her
But
knees,
yes, how
my
do you
God.
get to interpret it?
Well, by the way, the word Eid itself means feast.
Yeah.
So clearly, the thing says feast,
Yeah.
which means there is a celebration. It means festive. And that's the whole origin of the word Eid. And now when you add al-Fitr, that means you're celebrating after fasting, which is why now it makes a lot of meaning that they do fast before this kind of feast. And if you ask me, to an ordinary Ugandan who is not Muslim, it means a day to celebrate and eat that pilau. But of course, it also has a spiritual meaning, and obviously it does talk about the time when Muslims are celebrating the provision of strength and endurance from Allah. And actually it is marked with a lot of events, and among which Muslims celebrate during the time of Ramadan. It's also a time for charity, otherwise known as Zakat al-Fitr. So this is the one value that we have seen Muslims do really reflect on, and they do value it, which is also one of the guidelines or something provided from the Quran about charity. And you will agree with me that the Muslims, our brothers and sisters there, have been at the forefront of giving charity, or even indicating the values of it. We have seen them come up with a lot of organizations, even during this time of fasting, where they are giving to the poor, which is also a very celebrated value. And this is something that as a society we can pick on and reflect on. We have even seen a lot of mosques where in the evening, when they are helping their fellow Muslims who have been fasting to give out food, they're even giving to the local communities. We also know that there are individuals that actually join them. Not really, they have not been fasting, they are not Muslims, but they know at the mosque there is going to be food. So they go there. And these people are actually charitable enough that they give out this food. If it is remaining, if it is there. I have not seen a mosque where they sent people away. There was although one clip on the internet where someone was masquerading, but they were also rude. So maybe they did deserve that. But all I'm saying is that's a time for giving. And we have seen it with, what they're doing. They are fasting, but they're also giving out. I was also told from the interaction I also had with some of my friends in the Muslim community that when kids are growing up, they teach them a value of giving through their birthdays. And whenever they're celebrating a kid's birthday, they tell them to give out items to their neighbors, to their friends, to reflect that whenever you're celebrating, it is only fair for you to give out. So this is something that they learn from a very early, tender age to start giving. It's no wonder you see that even for all the events leading up to Eid, much of what they celebrate as themselves, as what they have been able to achieve, is being able to give out to the poor, the less privileged, but also as an act of you showing Allah that whatever they have been has been provided to you, you're able to share it. And that is the whole idea behind celebrating Eid for this time of the year. But also you look at what, for themselves as Muslims, what they really deeply look at, especially in terms of prayer. Most of the prayers that are carried out, this is the one faith where they do a lot of prayers within the day. I think 5 times, or they 5 times or more. Yeah, that is enough time for you to look at how many things they are praying for. And that is an emphasis of prayer. Not to make the comparison, but if you look at how we pray during the time of fasting in a Christian faith, it's either in the morning, then there is an afternoon, there is evening. The rest of it is upon you as a person. But if you have been keen enough to pass through, to pass by the mosques during this time of fasting, you'd notice how almost every time there is a group of Muslims that are praying in the mosque. So that indicates a personal dedication of them to be able to be involved in prayer. And that is one thing that I think also community could pick up on. And now we see even a lot of insecurity, insurgencies that are happening across most of these Muslim-dominated countries, Sudan itself. And you look at how far their prayer could go even into emphasizing some of these issues. Could they even solve some of these issues through coming together as a Muslim community? It's no wonder the story we were reading in the morning about Turkey, the Turkey president coming out to advise the Muslims in Sudan to at least have a ceasefire and celebrate and reflect. And Turkey is one of those countries that have consistently had a lot of festivities, especially when it comes to Eid. Most, actually for them, they go up to 3 to 4 days of celebrating this particular Eid. And also for Egypt, you see them going up to 4 days of celebrating Eid. Now, all that is meant to bring together a time of prayer, also reflecting, also, you know, coming together as a community and devising on how they can better themselves, but also the world at large. And I think another thing that we can pick on as the community around the Muslims is to be able to share our faith. And regardless of what is around you, are you proud of your faith? And that is something that also I think Felix talked about. The way they value the pride in being a Muslim is something that is reflective of who they are. They are not afraid to actually say, I subscribe to this faith and it's all about what I believe in, what I pray for. You will pass by in the afternoon on the side of the road. If it is time for prayer, you will find a Muslim get whatever they are getting or the mats, I don't know how they call them, kneeling on the side of the road and praying because they do not want to go past that time without prayer. How many other religious subscriptions do that? It's the dedication right there and the pride that they take in themselves. And I'll tell you a personal experience. There is a time when you find, I think in the month of the Rosary from the Catholic faith, where you find a lot of people, even on the way they have their Rosary praying, and there is judgment.
October?
That's the month of October, and there is judgment. People see you're moving and you're reading your Rosary, and what is wrong with this person? What are they trying to show us? So that kind of judgment is something that no one should care about. All you're doing right now, you're praying. And God knows what you're praying for. But again, some of us are shielded from doing that because we believe there will be judgment from the community.
But since when do you care about what people think? I don't know.
This is what holds people back. This is what holds people back. And I think the Muslim community has done a tremendous job at showing us that they actually don't care.
Yes.
You find them in the market and they will be there praying.
With their prayer mat. The logic in issues to do with religion or faith is simple. I can't get judgment from someone who cannot do anything from me. I don't know if that makes sense. I can only get judgment coming from someone bigger than the person I'm worshiping. So if you are less than that, for example, when you go to pray, the things you pray for before God, can this person giving you judgment to do any of those things?
First of all, they
I would love to hear from
you.
Robert. I would really love to hear from Robert what he thinks about all this. Robert.
Yeah.
Well, first, I want to congratulate our brothers and sisters because you're talking about Eid, but it's just a climax of the month of Ramadan.
Yes.
Where our Muslim brothers were directed through Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that they should fast. It is a requirement, it is a mandate for every Muslim of age to fast, unless there are clear reasons for those that are sick, for maybe pregnant mothers, and of course those in their biological days and all that. For the ladies, that those are the days you don't fast, but still after, Felix talked about sitat, you have to catch up and fast the days you did not fast. So congratulations, those that have fulfilled a religious requirement of you. Because of course we know those that excuse themselves. One of our brothers said around 2 he developed certain challenges and he gave up fasting. Now, what I focus, or when I talk about Eid, for me it's Ramadan more, is the level of holiness that these people exhibit. We talked about memories, and Felix and gave child memories. Now, for me, my biggest memory I have when I was a kid about all this Eid and Ramadan is I had a neighbor, and they were Muslims, but they were not religiously wedded or married. Now, every time this month of Ramadan would come, the lady would leave the home and return after the month of Ramadan.
Yes.
So growing up, I would ask the children, where is your mother? Until they told me, because they are not wedded in Islam, so this man's fasting, any of them, they are fasting, would not be received or seen holy.
Yes.
If they are staying together. Now I want to tell you, it took them some time until they went and did their, so they began staying together. And if you notice in the Muslim faith, as you are going closer to the month of Ramadan, I hope you've been able to notice, they carry out a lot of weddings. You know, there is wedding after wedding after wedding. Reason for them to be pure and holy in the month of Ramadan. And to me that moved me to say, look at that devotion. Many will tell you, many of our sisters will tell you that the Muslim brothers have not been available for this time. Many of our brothers will tell you that the Muslim sisters that are either cohabiting or having affairs, they have not been there. This man is fasting, you don't bother him. Look at that level of holiness, that devotion and commitment, that you say, Molen, we are going in Ramadan, we cut ties. After this
there is
requirement,
absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Even your messages, be careful. You can send a hi, hello, good morning, but not those extreme messages. Then also there are transformation in character. For I want to stick for this month. You find a person who was going to the bar, none steps there. Those that understand their principles, none. You know, there is, and we feel and we see it among these people. So for me, it is that devotion, that commitment, that determination to their faith to fulfill a requirement that is upon them in their faith to do. And also the generosity. I want to tell you, this giving and giving, that's what they call zakati. Now if you go to all mosques, you're going to that extreme giving, you know, giving. And that also comes to my mind. Now when many talk about come and eat, I know times are hard, economic times, but previously many of these brothers would give so much and invite so many. But remember, even in this month, our brothers and sisters go to Mecca and Medina. That is why we have the 19 Ugandans that are stranded in Sudan, because they were on their way to Mecca and Medina. Now, this is also a requirement, if you have, that you must go to Mecca and Medina. They do that pilgrim. It is a requirement of them. And after Eid, you see those that return, the jubilation, the celebrations. That's when you earn the name Haji or Hajat. Leave alone these days where everyone who veils, everyone who puts on Haji Salam Alaikum, Haji Salam. No. It is after you have gone to this holy place where I believe Prophet Muhammad, his burial site, and I think that you can see some videos on our screen there showing the brothers that are moving around Kaaba, rotating the number of times that their faith says, and this is all in fulfillment of that. But above all, Eid will make meaning and Ramadan when it has caused total transformation.
Yes.
Much as a requirement for specific time in Islam. But I think it shouldn't just be, let's be holy at this time, let's do this at this time. It should that even after Eid, after Ramadan, we keep that holiness, we keep that spiritual transformation going on, and we believe that spiritual renewal, revival will do us great.
Now, since this year's Eid coincides with Jummah prayers, because today is a Friday, so the Jummah prayers obviously should be going on. Now, Eid prayer takes precedence over Jummah prayer. And again, this is one of the messages that came in from Sheikh Abdul Hamid Kagwa of the Masjid Kuba Namagoma in Chengeda Town Council. In fact, he went ahead to look into the Islamic teachings, talking about this whole this kind of coincidence when Eid comes through and Jummah as well coincide on the same day that Eid prayer takes precedence over Jummah prayers. Now this means that you would have to attend the Eid prayer instead of the Jummah. But also he did emphasize that if someone misses these Eid prayers, then they have to perform the Jummah prayers as usual. So you don't have a way to run out of this. But again, I do know that Muslims actually do. I have seen people who, because they're supposed to have 5 prayers a day on an ordinary day, they will actually go and have those 5 prayers. It takes a certain type of devotion, because I am sure amongst the 4 of us here, if that task was put upon you, you probably go for, say, 3 prayers or 2 prayers or 4 prayers, and then you come up with excuses.
And also in addition to that, those prayers have specific time.
Yes.
It's not just about you
don't
saying,
get to
I had
dictate
one,
your own time.
I'm going the other.
Yes.
And just to share a small experience I learned with our brothers, the Muslims, how they are good at keeping time. Today is Eid. If they said prayers are starting at 8,
they will start at 8.
They will start at 8. Remember in my career, one time I thought things are as they are done this other side. And the biggest person, I had to have the voice of the Mufti Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubajir. At exactly 9, he went to the place where he stands and begins the prayers. Now, for me, I come knowing they will delay. There will
be an extension of.
Did my team get the capture that? I know what that means in a newsroom. So I learned that when they say this is the time for prayers, you don't say Jummah prayers and for your Jummah prayers are at 4. No. They are very strict and treasure time. And of course, the Islam faith is a faith where you don't just spend extravagantly. Even time, even everything.
Absolutely, you don't have to be very extravagant. Well, we'll be giving you a live coverage of the not Jummah prayers, of the celebrations that will be happening at Old Kampala Mosque here in Uganda, and Kampala to be very specific. So make sure that you are ready to watch the proceedings of that. Well, for now, we'll look into the big stories of our papers, the New Vision and the Daily Monitor. Starting off with the New Vision, Kasaija, Nabakoba return iron sheets. Lugolobi gets tough bail conditions. Is tough? 10 million, is it tough enough? But yes, and over there they're giving you headshots of several ministers who have returned iron sheets. You'll see Matia Kasaija, you'll see Navakoba, you'll see Nandutu, amongst others. And looking at more stories, YM70 did not sign the anti-gay bill. And finance releases 1.2 trillion Uganda shillings for local government schools. And Museveni hands over 300 million Uganda shillings monitor cash to NRM, and 4,000 students on loan scheme to be discontinued. And Bukede rewards listeners, viewers with Eid hampers, of course, looking at the general Eid celebrations that are going on worldwide. But we also do have the Daily Monitor, the big stories in there. Felix.
Tough bounce ethics minister with iron sheets. I wonder who that is. But anyway, it is sent by Miss Rose Lily Okello, the Minister of Ethics and Integrity, to return the iron sheets she obtained irregularly to the office of the Prime Minister, are turned away and asked to avail an authorized representative to record a statement accompanying the returned items. And temporary relief as Rugorobi gets bail, fate of at least 1,500 vet students in balance, and 10 mosquito repellent plants named. Okay, this is a good one. Why Museveni is returning the anti-gay act to parliament, and in the school pullout, Hilary Okello telling stories just for laughs.
Well, it's Good Morning Uganda and Friday special at that. We will go for a break. When we get back, we'll still have quite a lot to unpack for you.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
It's the encounters with our majestic gorillas. The thrill of taking on the falls of the Nile River. The joy of discovering new traditions and a lot more. Join us at the 2023 Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo from the 26th to the 29th of April at the Commonwealth Resort, Munyonyo. Rediscover our country's uniqueness and see what the tourism sector has in store for you. Visit www.poate.co.ug to secure your spot and get set to learn, network and explore. The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo is brought to you by the Uganda Tourism Board in partnership with Competitiveness and Enterprise Development Projects. Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 100 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 100 star 10 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 100 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Jerry God! Jerry God! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Buy Jerry God with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundawa, first school fees I teach you. When I go with the muscari, because of the cover is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru, and Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. It is Friday special here, and you're watching UBC TV on this very special, cold but wonderful Friday. My name is Philomena Masco, and well, right about now, we'll be talking about something very important, something very, very necessary for the people who love reading, and for those that would love to interest themselves in reading, and those that actually should, because at one point I do believe we all should interest ourselves in reading. Talking about the commemoration of World Book and Copyright Day. Now, does this